I'm Johnny Moran, the dark horse, and I'm drinking with Big Mo.
All right, everybody. Want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin at Moe's be a brand ambassador. They encourage everybody to break out of that comfort zone, live their best self, which, hey, that's what got me starting the podcast. But they got great clothing, great apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, hats, all that good stuff. Be sure link will be in the description, and use the code Drinkin at Moe's to get 10% off your order. Let's
All
fucking
right,
go.
everybody. Welcome, Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. YouTube, as always, like, subscribe, all that good shit, because that pain in the ass algorithm is just that, a pain in the ass. We're most places you can find your podcast. Today, I'm excited to have with me Johnny Moran. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. How about yourself, Mo?
Oh, I can't complain. My wife and I had a little anniversary trip down to Kansas City to go see Luke Combs play at the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium. So that was pretty fun.
I'm a huge Luke Combs fan. So how was that?
Oh, it was pretty amazing. We were in the
Yeah.
pit, and
Get out.
yeah, and even better, my wife, part of the fan club, won 2 passes for the VIB meet and greet. So my wife and I got a picture with him.
Shut up. That's awesome, man.
Oh man, it was something else. And before we get into everything, the show was pretty amazing. But
Yeah.
thinking with the meet and greet, we're already in the line ready for the meet and greet, and you can hear some of the concert going. So it's like,
Yeah.
maybe we won't get as close in the pit, but hey, we're getting to meet Luke Combs. But
Right.
then slowly as the concert got going, I don't know what happened, but we kept on creeping closer and closer to the stage. We ended up being pretty damn close.
That's awesome. That's awesome. My last concert was I don't know if you know him, Zach Bryant.
It
Yeah.
sounds
Something in
familiar.
the Orange. That's
Okay,
like his
yeah.
big hit. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No,
And he was phenomenal.
oh yeah. My wife and I, we actually have seen Luke Combs 10 separate times.
Really? I haven't even
Literally,
seen him once. You guys are lucky.
literally anytime he's within 3 hours, I hear my wife's on it, and it's like I got hotel, we got this, and we're there. So it's like, all right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I can't complain. But to get into the podcast stuff, we're here about wrestling, although I do enjoy talking things outside of wrestling.
Right.
But the thing I like to start off with each of the guests is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you started deciding to make the leap into the business.
What got me started as a fan, my older brother James, he's 10 years older than me. So I was born in 1988 and wrestling was in its like big boom. So
Yep.
my brother would literally videotape, record on VHSs. If anyone out there knows what a VHS is besides me and you.
Born in 83, so
yeah, so we know what it is, but he used to record them on VHS, and I would have like Saturday night main event, and then it would have like the dates. And so I would put that on and cartoons from when I was little. So that, and he would leave his LJN wrestling action figures. You can literally see a Hulk Hogan LJN that we have here. I chewed it because I was teething on it. Probably why I'm a little messed up. But I've been a lifelong fan. I always was a fan, like my whole life. So then I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was like in college, one of the people on the wrestling team, one of my friends, his name was Eric, and or his cousin's name was Gary that wrestled with me. Eric was the one that owned like the house that we used to go to because
Mm.
they all lived on this big piece of land, and then they had woods in the middle that they owned. But he cut a huge square out. He actually built his own wrestling ring, and we wrestled probably 3 years of college that I was in. So my freshman year, I didn't wrestle in the backyard, but um, my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I did. And the state, like we got so big, we literally used to get 230 people in his backyard. Yeah,
Okay.
it was insane. It was absolutely insane. And like none of us knew what the hell we were doing. Like we're putting on shows for people and like they're just loving it. And the state of Pennsylvania, you have to have a doctor, you have to have a license. We don't know this, and we're not really like pro wrestlers. We're just some dumb kids like putting on shows. So the state actually came after my friend Eric and his family. So he's like, "Hey guys, like I can't afford legal fees and all that." And we were gonna fight it, but then, he's like, "Is it really worth the fight?" And he ended up closing it. So then me and my tag team partner from the Mighty Militia and the Extra guys I teamed with, Mike Mitchell, he and I, like one summer I did a bodybuilding show. And I remember after the bodybuilding show, I was just like, hey man, like we're not wrestling anymore. We both love to wrestle. And like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. I wish we could wrestle. He's like, that's what I want to do. So then I just Googled some schools and then I saw a Backbreakers training center in Scranton, PA. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like I live in Scranton. So like, how is there a training center and I don't know about it? Little did I know they only had it open for a year. So that's why I didn't know about it. They only had like 3 students when we first joined. Um, but it was just a Google because like we did it in the backyard and like I had the bug. And then like the other thing too is like we always kind of knew like the backyard wasn't going to get us anywhere. But like we promised our parents like, hey, we'd both get through college. And like the backyard stuff, like our parents had no clue of. Like they like there were people like I used to tell like if I saw like a neighbor or like a friend that knew my mom, I'd like, yo, this doesn't happen. Like you never saw me here, like all that.
Yeah.
Because it was like super hidden. And then when we finally like joined the school, which is Backbreakers Training Center, that's where I finally broke down and like told my parents like, hey, I'm gonna do this. And they agreed as long as I kept a job, and like it wasn't I'm living off wrestling until I could actually live off wrestling.
Oh yeah, no, totally. And I can see quite a few parents out there that are like maybe a little hesitant at first, but it's like, yeah, at least have that backup deal where it's like if you get to the point where you can live off wrestling, hey, cool. But at least you got this. Till then I can see little people getting kind of okay. I can support that a little more.
Yeah. Well, when I graduated high school, I told my mom then, I'm like, hey, I just want to be a wrestler. Like, that's what I want to do. And she's like, college education, then you can do whatever you want. And so that's what I did. I went to college, I got my degree, and, I have a very good job. So thankfully I did do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No, and, you've had from doing my homework, I've seen a mix of singles and tag titles, like a pretty good mix. What would you say you prefer? Because I know some people prefer tag, some people prefer being the singles competitor because it's like, hey, you can't have to rely on somebody else if somebody isn't pulling their weight on a tag team. You got yourself.
Right. Honestly, I love tag team wrestling, but I prefer to be singles. Absolutely love tag team wrestling. I love teaming with people. I've had a number of tag teams. I've had a number of tag team championships with different people. So like that shows you like just the dedication. It's like, you know, I know it's, you know, scripted and everything, but
Yeah.
like when they put those belts on you, like that means they rely on you and they know they can rely on you. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
I earned those, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. That title getting put on you, like you said, definitely is that promoter, that promotion's stamp of approval, knowing that, hey, we can count on this guy.
Yeah.
We know that he can bring in people and that you got their support, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah, and some people, it takes a while to get to that point. And I know there's all sorts of stories out there of guys that have been in 10 years or more, and they're just now getting to some of those bigger stages. And I know I've seen some, like, I like to do my homework for the episodes, and I know there's been a couple promotions I've seen you at least having multiple years with these promotions. One of them, and for people out here in the Midwest that might not know so much about these,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling was one that I saw you pop up at quite
Yeah,
a bit.
PPW. Yeah.
What's it like being a part of there? Because it seems like you've popped up there quite frequently.
So that was like my first outside promotion that like the promoter reached out to me. I mean, it wasn't because I did anything special or anything like that. It was
Yeah.
just the fact that my tag team partner at the time was like, "Hey, I have a partner. Like, he's starting up. Like, we haven't oiled out the tag team yet. He was in a tag team, and we made it a trio. Um, he's like, but you could bring him in just as like a single." So the promoter reached out to me. His name is Anthony McKeegan. And from then on, I was just steady on their roster. Like he believed in me. He was one of the first people that did believe in me. And like I got a lot of opportunities out of PPW. I got to work Rhino. I worked with Glacier, Austin Aries. I got to work with Impact 3 times with them. Like
I was gonna say I saw you pop up with a kind of a joint show with Impact there.
Yes. Originally, the first time it was me and my tag team partner at the time, Clutch Adams, against South Philly's Finest, where we won the tag titles on the Impact pay-per-view. That one was a pay-per-view, and then the other two, I think Turning Point, we were pre-show. I was in like a 8-man tag, and then it was a Impact Plus exclusive that I was in a 6-man. Yeah. No, it was the other way around, but same deal.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 6-man, 8-man.
Oh yeah, no, some of those that they put in to kind of get the crowd warmed up. Some of the you mentioned show matches, but that's awesome. Getting an opportunity with a promotion like Impact. I mean, they've been around for a while.
Yes.
They actually, I mean, I think well documented. A lot of people kind of wrote them off for a while because it looked like they were on death's doors, basically. And now look at them. I mean, personally, I think one of the more underrated national promotions out there.
Definitely is.
And, I mean, look at the talent they got running through there. Josh Alexander is probably, I wouldn't even say arguably, one of the best wrestlers out there right now.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, good Lord. I'm trying to think of a former guest of mine was actually just recently there this last weekend with, I think it was Against All Odds was the one this weekend, but Chris with his old buddy Sammy Callahan there, which I was I was excited to see that he got back out there with them because I know there was a little whatever that got him out of Impact before, but now getting to see the success that they had there with that was definitely awesome to see.
That's great to hear.
And another promotion I saw pop up quite a bit that, again, me being located where I am and not being able to travel to a lot of these places, I haven't covered as much of the East Coast as West. But
Right.
Immortal Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, they're upstate New York. They used to be, originally they were Dynasty, I think it was called. Dynasty Wrestling. They broke up, like the two owners split, and then it became Immortal Championship Wrestling under the owner Mike King. And they always treated me well. Gave me good opportunities. I was literally the first match in his first show. So
no kidding. That's a bit of a stamp of approval in its own right there.
Yeah.
And I like to talk, like I said, a little bit about stuff outside wrestling, but one last wrestling topic before we get to some of that.
Okay.
I like to think of what's next for Johnny Moran. Is there any like dream matches, and where's some places you might like to go that, maybe you haven't already?
Where I'd like to go, man, I'd like to either get to, well, technically I wrestled in Canada, but I'd like to wrestle like out of the States, Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I can see there's a lot of great stuff up there in Canada. I know.
Oh yeah.
I've talked to. Well, I don't want to say the name right now because I don't like. I kind of have a date, air quotes, confirmed, but I don't want to say anything literally until I have it recorded because it's been a year in the making.
Okay, so we'll keep it under wraps.
I'll mention it when we get done recording, but
okay,
literally the week before that I hopefully record with this guy, he's going to be in Japan.
Oh, that's awesome.
So is like Japan on the list, because I know it is for a lot of people out
there. It would be England first, then Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like the UK scene.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be a goal. Right now, I'm really focused at Titan Championship Wrestling. I'm teaming with a guy by the name of Aaron Roxas, and this Saturday we'll actually be wrestling for the tag team champions there, tag team championships there, against Steve Monster Mac and his partner Joker.
Nice.
So that's a big goal because I was their second heavyweight champion ever, and put that tag team title on me too.
Yeah. Oh no, they're getting even more titles on the list of different promotions, multiple in one. That's a pretty big thing because sometimes some people struggle to even get one.
Yeah,
definitely cool. Who would you say, outside of that goal of getting those tag titles you just mentioned, what would you say maybe some dream matches that you might like to have that are possibilities out there?
I don't know if it's a possibility, but a dream match for me would be Joe Coffey, that's in NXT.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of his. I watched all of his stuff in NXT UK, and now he's on the main roster, or not main roster, but on the NXT roster in the US. I've been watching him a lot,
Oh yeah, I'll admit that I haven't caught too much NXT lately, but when I did see that they came over from, I know NXT UK kind of folded, and I mean, maybe they're getting NXT Europe going sometime. Who knows? They keep on putting that off, but seeing him here under the US NXT banner definitely was excited because he's got a bit of that that style, that intensity that I like. That
Yeah.
it made me happy seeing he was here in the States.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I was happy they finally called him over.
Oh, totally. I mean, boy, one to say, who could I think of? No, well, dang, there's so many people that are tied up anymore that who knows when contract whatever goes around.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a sticky situation in itself. But
Oh yeah, of course.
I like I said, like to talk about some stuff maybe somewhat outside of wrestling. I'm noticing
Yeah.
when you watch those that will watch the YouTube version of this, little bit of a small little looking like wrestling buddy collection and different wrestlers
This
back there.
this is me. This is my slam buddy.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, Johnny Moran slam buddy. Also, this is a fan made action figure too. This is a Johnny Moran fan made action figure, which I thought was
Oh,
really
cool.
cool.
Looking similar to those Hasbro looking ones.
Yeah, yeah. And we got Brian Bosworth. I'm a huge Brian Bosworth fan.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of the Funko Pops.
Yeah. And then
I
there's hermit crab food right there too with them.
oh okay. Got some.
And then I own 2 French bulldogs, so my mom
Oh,
bought me a speaker that's
nice.
French bulldog, and he
My
like eyes light up and everything when it's playing.
nice.
So
My wife would love seeing that. We actually adopt. Well, this dog has since passed, but
right.
we adopted a Frenchie,
Oh
and
really?
she had hydro, so we knew she wasn't going to last as long as most, but we love the hell out of her.
Yeah.
And we actually help out with a short nosed breed rescue that specializes in, I believe it's Frenchies, English bulldogs, and Boston Terriers. They got a lot of those.
Really?
We've kind of taken a little bit of a break from fostering because I mean, right now we got an English bulldog and a Great Dane.
Get out. So I had 2 pugs, the fawn and a black pug. Then I had an English bulldog. Now I have 2 French bulldogs. The only thing I haven't had that's a smush face breed is a Boston Terrier. So when you said it, I'm like, it's the only one I haven't had.
We actually one of the rules in the rescue is you can't like foster fails. I mean, they happen, but you can't with your first puppy, or you can't like with your first one, period. But if you get your first one is a puppy, then that counts for both.
Yeah.
Well, our first one we fostered wasn't a puppy, but our first puppy was actually a Boston Terrier.
Yeah.
Little tiny thing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was a little ball of energy, but hard to not love the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, my dogs can be somewhat rambunctious. Our Great Dane is about 9 months old, and every now and then in some of the episodes you can kind of hear them, rambling around.
Yeah.
I'll have to, or Great Dane can get her front paws up on the sink, and I'll have to be like, "Hey, get off the sink!"
Yeah, yeah,
right in the middle of recording, so it's kind of funny. But that is back to the figures. That is kind of awesome with the Slam Buddy there. I know I have one that was actually sent to me by John Wayne Murdoch.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm particularly proud of that one. It's got like kind of double-sided. One side's regular, like pre-match, and then the other side's like all looking all bloody and stuff.
Bloody. Yeah.
It's pretty epic. And I've actually been a bit of a autograph hunter in my where like different figures or Funko Pops even. I Like, I don't like to buy the ones that are like already signed. I like the story of literally seeing them write the signature on there and like getting a picture with them. And like if someone were to ask for like a certificate of authenticity, I'd be like, picture here. See, he's literally holding it.
Yeah.
Like, one that I like to bring up with that is actually when I got to meet the original Green Power Ranger, Jason David Frank. I got
That's awesome.
One of his Funko Pops signed, and when I got the picture with him, he's literally holding the Funko Pop as he that he just signed, like those morphin things like that. And I'm like,
oh, that's cool.
Literally right there. Then I got I love getting, wrestling figures signed. Like I've got Hangman Page, Lance Archer, Keith Lee, Swerve, Kushida, Taya Valkyrie, John Morris. Like I got like a little growing collection that I'm kind of proud of.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds awesome, and you get the experience too when you get to meet them.
Oh yeah, no, there's been like, oh boy, when actually I got to meet Rich Swann, Keith Lee, and Swerve in one night at Sami Callihan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver. And I all but given up because the pre-show meet and greet, none of those three were out there. So I'm like, well, damn it, the three people I brought figures of, I have not. So literally, end of the show, I have all but given up. And I literally turn around and maybe a foot behind me, there's standing Rich Swann. I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then I'm like, well, damn it, what about Swerve and Keith Lee? So I'm walking back to my car, kind of a little like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
And then off in the distance, I'm seeing somebody filming a promo in the parking lot. I get a little closer and it's Swerve. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll wait a little off so I'm not kind of interrupting anything.
Right.
And, it's funny that some of the people that play absolute dicks on screen end up being some of the nicest people off. Like Swerve in AEW right now, playing a bit of a dick.
Right.
But that night that I met him, he was like, nicest dude. And then I'm like, well, damn it, did Keith already leave? And he's like, oh, no, he's still back there. So I waited for him for a while.
You got your signature, right?
Oh, yeah, I got all three of them. So definitely, I'm not with collecting to the level of, let's say, oh boy, Ethan Page or Matt Cardona with they've got whole YouTube channels just of collecting stuff. And I mean, I'm proud of my collection, but I'm nowhere near that level yet.
Of course, yeah.
But who knows? Maybe someday.
Maybe one day. It's a goal.
Yeah, maybe one day. I mean, I know Matt Cardona is actually this September going to be at a show for a promotion here in Omaha, so I'll at least get to meet him. So
there you go.
It'll be something. But to kind of round off the show, I have two categories. One's a bit of a name game where I try as much as possible to theme it to the guests, like people that you've been in the ring with or at the very least shared a locker room with. You give me some quick thoughts on the person.
Okay.
First one, you kind of brought him up a little bit ago, but, a lot of people might not remember him because it's been a little bit since, his heyday with WCW, but Glacier.
Is really sweet guy, super sweet guy. One of the nicest people, and he doesn't have to be.
I've heard lots of good about him.
I wrestled for Luke Gallows' Wrestle America
Okay.
with my team, and he was on like we did a tour. I mean, it's not really like a long tour, but it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we
Okay.
drove home Sunday. He was with us the whole time, and he was nothing but the nicest person ever. And then when he came to PPW, I was like, didn't know if he was going to remember me or not. So like,
Yeah.
came over. I'm like, hi, I'm Johnny. I don't know if, and he's like, Wrestle America. And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, I didn't know if you were gonna remember me or not. And he's like, oh no, of course I remember you. He's like, how you been? Super nice guy, you know?
That's awesome. I've had a few experiences with different wrestlers that I've met multiple times actually. One that I can remember, kind of a similar situation, was actually with Mike Bennett.
Oh, okay.
That he wrestled for a promotion that he's been up here a couple times for a promotion here in Omaha, and then I got a picture with him there. And then I got invited to Warrior Wrestling. They based out of Chicago, but they
Okay.
did a stop in the St. Louis area. They invited me down. I got to be a part of the fan fest and stuff. And Mike Bennett was on the card. And it was kind of interesting for me because I got an 8x10 made of the picture that I got taken with him, and I brought it to him before the rest of the crowd got into the fan fest. I'm like, he's like, "Oh, dude, I remember that picture."
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. And then I
Yeah.
actually met him again at Sammy Callahan's promotion, and I kind of literally maybe a few months later, and I literally looked at him and I'm like, we got to stop running into each other like this. And we both had a laugh about it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it was something else. Another guy had some history with WCW, but most people probably remember him with the original ECW, Raven.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Raven. Raven was a fun experience to call a match with because like he looks at matches and he breaks them down. You know what I mean? And it was a 6-man. We were up against they wanted the one person on the match, Mike Orlando, to come in later on in the match. So like he was, trying to figure out how we work that so that like, he still gets his pop and also Mike got his pop when he
Yeah.
came in. So it was fun. It was a cool experience to call a match with him.
I can imagine. He definitely seems like one of those guys that has maybe through the years of playing the Raven character has a bit of that methodical approach. It seems
Right.
like, kind of goes along with like the Raven character from the original ECW days. Very methodical.
Yeah.
Definitely had his ways of thinking around all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So
It was neat to see how he looks at a match.
oh, I can imagine getting to sit under the learning tree and
Yeah.
getting to be in there with him. Definitely awesome. Next up, coincidentally, when I brought up Mike Bennett, the guy that he faced at Warrior Wrestling at that St. Louis stop, now the Warrior Wrestling World Champion, Casey Navarro.
Oh, Casey Navarro. Yeah. Casey Navarro. He's someone that he's a really nice guy. Always been nice to me. I think we've only worked one match together,
I
but
was going to say, yeah.
it was a 6-man, super great guy. Nothing but nice things to say about him. Good dude.
Oh,
Talented
yeah.
worker.
Oh, totally. Amazing thing that I've become kind of good friends with a lot of the crew out at Warrior Wrestling. And, the way that he's kind of really jumped in there as their now champions, albeit little nefarious little circumstances there, but, he's done great. I remember, I think it was the same show for Wrestling Revolver that I met Mike Bennett again at.
Yeah.
I actually told him about a spot from the match at that Warrior Wrestling show where he literally goes from the ring post, flips over the guardrail onto Mike Bennett, and it was literally like a couple feet in front of me. And he was like,
That's
"Oh,
insane."
I remember that."
Yeah, that's insane.
That was something cool. Now, I have a interview with a different member of this family. Now, there's a saying that goes along with Cody Rhodes's entrance music, the start. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Well, one of those other royal families, I don't think it's arguable, the Anoa'i family.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Anoa'i.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right, because I
You
feel
are.
bad when
You
I'm
are.
butchering up a name.
Yeah, no, you are.
But what do you got to say about Lance Anoa'i?
One of the most talented people I've ever met, hands down.
I mean, coming from
he calls a match, and it's probably the coolest thing you'll ever hear. It's just like he does it in beats.
yeah.
And like it's not moves. He's like boo, 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 bam, and like he'll just do it like that. And you're listening to him, you're like, and you just know, and you're comfortable with him, that you trust him, like that he's not going to hurt you, and it's going to be perfect. And hands down, Lance is hands down one of the most talented people I've ever met.
That's awesome. I'm actually getting to meet another one of his relatives at a Comic-Con here in, well, technically not Omaha. It's over across the river. But Rikishi is going to be in town for that Comic-Con. And I had recently, when we were talking about wrestling figures and stuff and me getting them signed, I actually got one of his Rikishi's character when he was a part of the Head Shrinkers.
Oh, okay.
I actually found it at Target. So I was like, okay, I wasn't planning on getting anything, but I know I'm meeting him, so I will get that.
Right.
And he was actually a part of my first ever WWE show.
Oh, really?
Him as part of the Head Shrinkers versus, I believe the name of the tag team was High Energy, Coco Beware and Owen Hart.
Owen Hart, yeah.
And I was like a little third grader at the time, and I don't know if this speaks to the little third grader in me at the time, but one part of that match that I remember specifically, and little kid finding humor in this stuff, I forget which one it was, but one of the Head Shrinkers I remember specifically literally picking his nose and then eating it in the corner.
Oh, well, now that's something.
But with the way the Head Shrinkers characters were at the time, looking back, I'm like, oh, yeah, I can kind of see them, with the characters they were portraying. I can see that kind of happening, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was something else. But I'm looking forward to getting to meet him. Next up, my second category. I have some kind of random questions. Some might be wrestling related. Some might not be.
Okay.
I never really know until I'm literally putting my notes together. But
all right,
you give me the first answer that pops in your head. The first question, one that I like to lead off with, one of the only ones that I really keep in here all the time. Craziest in-match moment for you?
Falling through a table when it wasn't supposed to be me. So okay. They gimmicked the table. So they took the metal rim around, and I'm not light. I am 230 pounds, 225 pounds, depending on the weekend.
Yeah.
So these tables had either been rained on or in a damp area. Yeah. So they took the metal off because they thought it would be easier to break. I don't know. I'm laying on the table, and my opponent, part of SPF, Luca Brasi, that I was wrestling, he's completely across the ring. I'm all the way over here. I'm like, ah, crap, he's never going to reach me. And like, he's supposed to dive and I'm supposed to move out of the way and put him through the table. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get hurt if I stay where I'm at. Because like, I'm not going to be able to roll out of the way. So I'm slowly trying to creep over to the other side of the table. As I'm slowly trying to scoop my butt over, I just go, and it goes quiet, like completely silent. I look up, Luca's on the top rope. Like, then I had a manager, Ryan Race, right there, and he's like, and then all you hear is laughter, and everybody starts laughing. And I'm like, shit. And then like I just roll out of the ring. They let them win. We were supposed to win. Like I lost the tag titles legitimately. Yeah. And I'm rolling. And the manager, Ryan, he's like, what happened? I'm like, don't effing talk to me right now. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. That would be it right there.
That would be hard to beat when you bring up the story behind all that. I've seen them take the metal part from the tables out before, but that's rather insane. Like I've seen tables wrapped in barbed wire, thumbtacks all over, but no. Falling through when you're not the intended one would be something else. It's crazy enough when you are the intended one.
Right.
Like I've seen a match that I like to bring up for crazy moments was this promotion's version of the Money in the Bank ladder match. And a very good friend of mine was in it. He had a guy, they had this ladder bridge between the guardrail and the ring apron. And he had this guy on him like Sheamus's white noise, the head down here and the legs up there. Right. And I see him look down at the ladder. I'm like, do not tell me.
Right.
Jumps, ladder folds, and I'm on the other side of the ring. I see them disappear on the other side of the ring. I'm like, God damn. Yeah. It was nuts. Now, I would feel weird not including this question on here with the name of a show like Drinkin' at Moe's.
Okay.
Which I think I've only ever not had this question on one time. It was because I had a stupid brain fart and forgot it. But favorite drink, whether alcoholic, none, or you can name one of each if you want.
Heavy Seas Tropicana.
An
IPA.
I might have to keep my eye out for that one. I'm literally, when it comes to beer, I'm an equal opportunity beer drinker.
Yeah.
I have my favorites, but literally you put one in front of me and tell me to try it. I'll try just about anything.
Yeah, of course. I agree with you. I do like beer. Non-alcoholic, I would probably just say Pepsi.
Okay. My wife tells me I have a bit of a Dr. Pepper problem. I just tell her, and those that have listened to this show have probably heard this joke I like to tell her before, but I always tell her I don't have a problem. I have it all figured out. The only problem I have is when I don't have any.
This is true.
Now, kind of to piggyback off of the favorite drink, what would you say least favorite?
Ooh, least favorite? I'm not alcoholic, we'll go with first. Not a big stout guy. Or anything like anything with like cream, like rum chata shots.
Oh, okay.
Like, I had a lot of friends that used to love to like pound those, and I'm like, you're gonna like just something with milk and alcohol in me. Like, don't get me wrong, like I like to have like a glass of eggnog, a glass. I'll say it again, a glass. Yeah. But like more than one, I'm like, I don't know about that.
I can understand.
Yeah, and then I don't know what I don't like non-alcoholic wise. I'll drink pretty much anything non-alcoholic wise.
I'm right along there with you. I think if I had to myself pick an alcoholic least favorite, I actually found this out recently, well, relatively recently. My wife and I went to this sports bar that one of her cousins actually bartends at,
Mhm.
and the conversation got to this alcohol malort, and I had never had it before. And they're like, "Okay, this shot's on me, but you're drinking it now." And I'm like, "Oh fuck it, if I'm not paying for it."
Right.
Well, I drank it, and it literally tasted like I was swallowing rubbing alcohol.
Ooh.
It was awful. Like, it took a good while for me to just wash the taste out of my mouth.
Oh man.
Least favorite for non, yeah, it would be hard for me to pick a non-alcoholic one, because literally, if somebody's going to be nice enough to pour me a glass of something, I'll more
Yeah.
often than not drink it. But if I had to pick, with me being a bit of a Dr. Pepper snob, maybe some of those like generic store, like Dr. Thunder, whatever the hell is
Right.
it, those knockoff Dr. Peppers, I'm like, don't even bring me that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had to pick.
Right. Same.
Next up, I know I have a few spots that I put on this list, but what would you say a dream vacation spot for you would be?
Dream vacation. Italy. Uh, yeah,
I,
probably
I
Italy.
I've been lucky enough to go there. Good Lord, it was one of either right after or right before. It was in between years in high school that I got to
Hmm.
go. It was actually Greece and Italy.
Oh wow.
We got to spend a week in Rome, and
Yeah.
it was pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
I doing somewhat of a smart thing. I like to learn about where I'm going. I, I read that over there, if you want to order something like pepperoni pizza, you got to not tell them pepperoni, because you're going to get hot peppers.
Oh wow.
You want something like salami over there because, well, unfortunately, some other people in my group didn't read up on the guidebooks,
Yeah.
and they found that out the hard way.
Oh man.
I
Some
got
hot
a good little
peppers.
I got a good little laugh at them about that.
Yeah.
But oh boy, I'm a bit of a tropical vacation type of guy. Although my wife and I are planning on going on another Alaskan cruise, so that's going to be
Yeah.
fun. But oh god, like Tahiti, Bora Bora, that sort of stuff. That when you see them, you see those like hotel resort huts over the water.
Yes.
I'm like, I want to be there. I want
Yeah.
that.
Right. Who doesn't?
Oh man, I would be having the time of my life. I would not even need a damn TV in the room. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be by the damn water the whole freaking time.
I agree with you.
But we kind of talked to moving on to the next session. We kind of talked some about dogs. My wife and I actually have both cats and dogs.
Same.
What would you say if you're more of a dog or a cat person?
Dog or cat person? I'd like to say I'm a dog person, but everybody will tell you I'm a cat person. Like there's my cat Ellie, she's over there staring at me. And she runs the house. She doesn't bully the French bulldogs, but they know like she's the boss. When she comes in the room, they know.
Oh yeah. My wife, my now wife and I, she had two cats when we first got together. They're
Mhm.
still with us. But they mostly stay upstairs. I rarely ever see them downstairs anymore.
Yeah.
But we got one cat that wasn't even my idea to get him, but he loves the shit out of me. Like I'll be in bed and he'll literally come over, lay on my chest, and use my beard as a pillow.
Aw.
But so I can't help but love the little guy.
Right.
But I
Right.
would have to say for myself, probably a little bit more of a dog person.
Mhm.
I don't get it. I don't know why, but hell, having an English bulldog now, growing
Yeah.
up, that was always like my dream breed of dog.
Same.
English
Same.
bulldog. I don't
Same.
I don't know why, especially right now. The most chill friggin' dog ever. Like
Yeah.
literally, let him outside to go do his business, feed him a couple times a day, and just let him sleep.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah.
Last but not least, best advice for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Nowadays, it'd be different than what I would have said when I started. Now I would say understand social media,
Mm,
um, understand marketing, because you can get very far on just your social media brand. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I know a lot of people that got really, really far really, really quick just because they know how to use social media. They know how to
Mm,
make clips. They know what
mm,
music to pair with it. And like if you're already knowing that before you get in the game, you're gonna go so far so quickly. And
totally.
you gotta be ready and mature for that,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
No, you definitely. And I mean, nowadays with social media, people also got to realize, you're not gonna always have some of the kindest reactions to stuff. Some people are just gonna
Yep.
be assholes just to be assholes, but to be able to have that thick skin and just let that roll off of you, which I mean, it's going to be easier said than done sometimes. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
I like to think that I have a little bit of a thick skin, but yeah, there are times where people just be, like I said, assholes, just be assholes, and
Right.
it be a little bit hard sometimes to just be like just letting it roll off and not respond. But to be
Right.
able to do that, yeah, no, definitely a key. And hell, I think very good example of somebody who's basically mastered that. We talked a little bit about Matt Cardona earlier. I think he's a
Right.
prime example, even from when he was still in WWE, when he came up with that whole Long Island Ice Z thing, the
Yeah.
YouTube videos, and basically forced them to, hey, look at me. I'm getting all this attention over here. You need to use me here.
Exactly. Like think
Yeah.
about it if he didn't figure that out. You know what I mean? Like where would he be? Who
No,
knows? Who
totally.
knows?
I mean, maybe he'd still be doing things on the indie circuit, but I don't think that he would be anywhere near where he's calling himself the indie god right now.
Right.
You know, hell, his major wrestling figure podcast with the podcast and the YouTube channel and the Twitter, the Instagram, all that stuff. It just everything, all the different aspects are kind of feeding into one big package.
Right.
And, it's definitely important, especially nowadays, to help get yourself out there. I can totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, where can people find you talking, all the social media stuff? Where can people find you social media wise so if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there?
Yeah. I'm really simple. It's Johnny Moran underscore on Twitter and Instagram. And then I have a TikTok. It's Johnny Moran underscore also, but I'm not that. I don't have a ton of stuff on there. I'm not gonna lie to you. You can follow me on it. I do upload any kind of video stuff I upload over there, but it's not as big as like my Instagram and my Twitter. But I also have a Facebook like page and my YouTube, and it's Johnny Moran the Wrestler on YouTube and Facebook.
Awesome. We will get all of that in the description of both YouTube and podcast. But
yeah, also you can, if you go anywhere on any of those, I have my link tree on there, has my merchandise store and any of the social medias you're looking for.
Okay, definitely. We'll get all that on there so people can get their eyes on you. Well, that is about all I have. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, and best of luck out there.
Yeah, no, thank you.